Okay, will do.
Good evening, everybody. Women Crushing It Wednesday. Christine Lopez in the house. And I am so happy, happy, happy that our Nancy Boxing Republic is back with us. Nancy, tell everybody how you've been doing.
Woo! Thank you
Yeah.
so much. This is where I'm okay with the viewers chanting, quiere llorar, quiere llorar, quiere llorar, because I'm like,
Absolutely.
I am emotional. I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm on the mend. Definitely feeling better. But Christine, let me just tell you about this wonderful boxing family. It is just so wonderful that we connect. Not just everybody is part of the Hispanic Causing Panic Network, but just the boxing fans, the viewers. I had so many well-wish messages, and I'm just grateful to be back. And thank you for allowing me to just jump back in. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Lee, you see,
Thank
Lee,
you.
I called it Lee. I
Yes.
said, Lee's going to make me cry.
And
That's
he'll
what
be
I
on
said.
later, too. When we start talking boxing, he's going to be on, too. Josh Lopez, hello, ladies from Texas. Hello, Josh. Clarence McLean, hello, ladies. And Nika, say hi to everybody. And then our special guest will introduce herself.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Nika? Are you frozen?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
now I can hear you. I didn't hear you for a second. I'm
Okay.
sorry. You want me to introduce myself? Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. People know who you are, but in case
I'm
we
not
have some
drunk,
new
I
viewers.
promise. Yeah.
Me
And so
neither.
it's Knockout with Nika. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram. Um you could always probably find me with the red cup as well. I promise I'm not drunk. I just didn't hear you.
That's
The sound
okay.
went out.
And then last but not least, our amazing guest today, Ernestine. Tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Ernestine Jackson. I'm actually a former boxer with Christine, and now I am a registered dietitian and a nutrition coach.
Yes, she is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you really quickly, like the first time she walked in my gym, because this is kind of a funny story. So this young lady, how old were you, Ernestine, when you walked in? You were
I
like a
was
what? A
I was
sophomore, junior,
14.
14.
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school, or no, or going into my sophomore year, and I was 14.
Yeah, she was 14. She comes in and she wants to box. And so the first thing we do is run. And I'm like, okay, go run. So she comes back. She has a busted knee. It's like all of her guts are hanging out of her knee. And there's so much blood. And I'm like, oh
Oh
my
my God.
God, this girl's mother is going to come up here and beat me up or curse me out. And this little girl's never going to come back. But she did. She did come back. She came back as soon as she got a scab on her knee. And she went on to do great things. What all did you do in boxing, Ernestine? You did some great things in
Let's
boxing.
see. So my first fight was at ringside. So that was my first national tournament, and I won that. I won national pal, and what else?
USA Nationals,
Oh,
Antonio.
yes, USA Nationals. So
Yes.
my record ended up being like 8-3. I didn't have my first loss until like my sixth fight. I was so devastated, but but yes. So I ended up having 11 fights while I was boxing.
So, do you think that boxing changed your life? I mean, there's a lot of little girls out there, and maybe they want to box, or maybe they think that it's not for girls or whatever. What was the impact that you had?
So I would definitely say the biggest change and the biggest impact was weight loss. So of course, when I went to the boxing gym, that's one reason why I fell because I couldn't pick up my legs. Um, I was heavy set, and so over the course of boxing, I ended up losing about 100 pounds the first
Wow.
year within
Yeah,
boxing. I went through every weight class there was
she
at
did.
that point. And
Nice.
so it was the weight loss transformation overall. I would say one of many things or one of many factors on my life. And the weight loss specifically is one thing that spiked my interest in becoming a registered dietitian. So I was just used to eating like typical, you just eat, food is good, eat for survival. But once I had to lose weight, once I had to watch what I ate, which foods gave me energy, which foods helped me perform better, that got me to thinking on a whole new level. And that spiked my interest into wanting to study nutrition into depth, which led me into becoming a registered dietitian.
Yeah, so she ended up leaving us to go to college, and she went to college to pursue her dreams. But she really made an impact on our lives. I mean, like I said, she's definitely my daughter from another mother, and she was with us for a long time. She lived with us a little bit too, and she not only, I mean, she says that we impacted and that we changed her life, but she definitely changed our life too, and I'm so proud of her,
Oh,
and everything that
thank
she's doing.
you.
Yeah, she went on to what, you got your master's degree?
Yes. So originally, when I left, well, actually, I boxed 1 year into college. So I did try to hold on. But because I had the best coaches ever, when I got to college, the coaches just, there was no discipline. I had to really make a decision where I was going to give majority of my energy. Was it going to be school or was it going to be boxing? And it was a hard decision, especially being a first generation college student. I had no other choice but to go to college and do well. So I left and I got my bachelor's of science in food and nutrition. And then when I moved back to Dallas, I pursued my master's degree of science and nutrition as well, here at TWU.
Yeah, you are such a great inspiration. I mean, you definitely are. Ladies, do y'all have any questions for Ernestine?
Do you work with any boxes now?
I don't, well, not one on one. I do go to Texas Select a few times out the week. I recently went back, not to compete, but to work out. So I don't work with the boxers directly, but I do get onto them while I'm at the gym about what they're eating and giving them advice to help them with their fights and if they're trying to cut weight.
Yeah, she does, and I think that's fabulous. And whenever before she leaves, she's going to tell you where you can find her and where people can get advice, and she's doing great things. And we need to support her. I mean, she's such a role model, for women everywhere. I think, and men, absolutely, and men. But Ernestine, I know you have things to do, but before you leave, I wanted to know your opinion on should women fight 3-minute rounds in the professional ring.
So it has been a minute since I fought, so I don't want that to take away from my credibility.
Not at
But
all.
knowing that women are striving for equality when it comes to boxing in relation to men, um, I feel like with that we should compete and do the same as the men do, as a step towards that equality, with equality in pay and also with striving to get the same recognition as men do, because unfortunately the sad truth is women don't in boxing. So I think that would be, I don't think that's going to solve all of the problems, but I do think that would be a great step in the right direction as far as achieving that equality.
Yeah, I totally agree. IOTBA, thank you. Hit that like button and share, guys, please. I totally agree with you. And a lot of women today that are in the professional life, they say, yeah, they would, but they have to get the pay that the men do. And I don't blame them. So I don't think that they should move to 3 minutes until they do get the pay that the men do. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I do agree with that. And another part of that, as I mentioned earlier, how men's boxing gets way more attention than women's. And that's one of the biggest reasons or factors when it comes to pay as well. So it's like not just a black and white one-stop shop. There's several things that have to be changed in order for, overall, in my opinion, it's about the women making more money. So in order for that to become official and for that to happen.
This is
Absolutely.
Nancy. I want to congratulate you. I really
Oh,
admire
thank
that
you.
because just the discipline you have to pursue the education, finish the education, and you're essentially, now a business owner, right?
Yeah.
Self-employed, and that is a lot of hard work. That is a
Thank
lot of
you.
hard work. So, and then on top of that, right, just the fitness aspect, like thinking to your career and what you can now speak to based on your experience, very specific, to females. I think that it's great that you can offer this unique perspective because there are, the sport is the sport, but then as a female, there are just the different, call them challenges, obstacles, right,
Yes.
that we face, not just, physically, but perhaps the demands, at home are different. The dynamics at home can sometimes be different, so I really admire you and I wish you much
Oh, thank
success. And
you.
I want to make sure that everybody that's watching, is sharing and following, because I think this is a great journey that you're on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I had one question. I had one question for you.
Sure.
So when knowing the challenges, right, that you likely faced, when you think back to the moment where, um, you know what, this is when I really felt that I had the support I needed around me. Like what point of that was it? What point in your life was that moment where maybe it was where family came through for something, right? The fellow boxers, when did you have that moment where you had that support around you that you felt really gave you the push to be where you are right now?
I would definitely say the support when I left to college. So like I stated before, I'm a first generation college student, so it was a new experience for my family and for others around me. So that included my boxing family, my friends. Everyone knew the motivation and the drive behind why I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So as far as pursuing nutrition, so everyone was very supportive, and I've always been the type of person to go after exactly what I wanted. So everyone was there encouraging me, right behind me. When it was hard being away, when it was hard making the decision as far as am I going to box anymore? Am I going to go to school away from home? It was that initial, literally like me leaving. My family and friends did like a going away party. It was at that moment that I realized, like, oh my gosh, all of these people do support me.
Hmm.
This is great. I have to do this. I need to do this. And I knew that pursuing nutrition, it was going to be a benefit for myself, but it was also going to be a benefit for my community, and not just community, like the people that I live around with, but people in my inner circle. So my mom, which she was an inspiration for me as well. Because when I started boxing, she was actually diagnosed with diabetes. So we like while I was losing weight, she
Wow.
lost weight with me, which benefited her as well. So just my knowing that I can influence and the impact that that decision was going to make on my inner circle, that in combination with everyone's support, is when I realized the amount of support that I did have.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You said something that's really resonating with me is that you made your dreams known, right? You made your goals known to people. And I think that's so important that perhaps we don't do enough of is to share with others, right? What
Mm-hmm.
you intend. Christine, like with the platform here, and my intentions, with what I want to do with my
Mhm.
organization, you got to let people know, right? And,
Absolutely.
and you'll have the
Yep.
people are there for support, but then you'll be pleasantly surprised, how many others will step up. That's a wonderful story. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think some people, men and women, but we're women, so we're going to speak for the women. Sometimes we're ashamed to tell people what we're dreaming of and inspiring to do because we don't want to be made fun of. We don't want people to say, "Oh my gosh, you can't do that," and they won't come out and directly say because you're a woman. But sometimes I feel that that is the way that they feel. Have you ever received any kind of negative comments whenever you told people your dreams and what you wanted to do?
Oh, absolutely. I know a lot of people, especially from my peers, surprisingly. A lot of people. So I finished college early. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I promise. But I finished a
No,
year early.
Toot it, girl.
toot it, toot
Right,
it.
toot it. There's other
Okay,
women
well.
watching, girls. Right, yep.
So my program was a 4-year program, but I went to school literally year round since the summer that I graduated high school. So I finished my bachelor's degree in 3 years. So a lot of people were just saying like, oh, literally words verbatim, after you graduate, you become an adult. After you graduate, you're going to live like in the real world. Everyone's saying like, what's the rush? I knew in my mind that especially when it's something that's in the medical field, it's not a one-stop shop. And as we know now, college is not downing education, but it's not a go to college and you're automatically successful. So I knew I had work to do after college, and I didn't want to spend all of my life in school or steadily always pursuing something. So in the process, people definitely talk down about me graduating early. Also, because my field is not minority friendly, that is another that thing people discourage, saying, "Oh, there's not many minorities there. You're not going to have support from the people around you, people in your field." So I've heard all kinds of things
And you've
in pursuit.
experienced it. I've heard some
That's
Yes,
exactly
stories.
it right there. Yep. That's exactly
yes,
it. Especially that is more reason, right, to champion and to be vocal about, the need for this, because like, on this show, we're all, women of minority.
hmm
And we know that in many cases, specific to nutrition, and the impacts of it with things like diabetes, which you mentioned earlier, is more
yes,
prevalent, within our cultures.
yes,
So we have a
absolutely.
question. I guess they got on late. Aryan, he said, "In what field is this again?" So if you'll just tell everybody, in case some people are tuning in
Yes.
now, what field it is.
So I'm a registered dietitian. So I'm highlighting that because I don't want to just say food and nutrition because that's wide, but I'm a registered dietitian. And as of 2020, 2.6 of registered dietitians are African American. And then when it
Two
comes to
point six.
Hispanics, yes,
Two.
Wow.
Hispanics and Asians are a little bit lower. So we make up about
Wow.
3% of the dietitian population.
Wow. That
Yes,
is amazing.
Mm,
That is amazing that you did this even
that's
though you were
interesting.
receiving
Yeah.
criticism.
I know.
I
But
applaud you.
I let them have it.
I know you did. I know you did. She's being real sweet right now, but trust me, she's a handful. Nika, have you experienced that where you told people like your dream hopes and dreams and
Uh,
people try to shoot it down?
I'm not gonna lie, no, because I don't tell people my business.
That's true. You don't. You don't.
So, but I've had you. So, but I know, but I like can feel like when when you're speaking with somebody and they're telling you their life story, and you know that if you tell them yours, that you're gonna get that reaction. So that's
Yep.
probably
hmm
why I
Yeah.
haven't like told many people things about what I'm doing or what I plan to do because
Right.
I can kind of read people, so I keep
Mhm.
most things to myself. So
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
gonna
a
say that
shame that we don't
because
get
I
more
just stray
support
away.
and more people that are uplifting and the same with me. I mean, I wanted to be in boxing somehow, ever since I was 6 years old. But of course, I just kept it to myself because, you're first of all in my era. Not that I'm old, Ernestine, but in my era,
No, I'm just kidding.
it wasn't boxing. You're a girl, like really. I mean, they just came out and said it, so I kept it a secret. So I can totally get, what Ernestine is saying, and I'm so proud of her. I love her to death.
Love you
And
too.
even I, when she was going to school during Christmas and summer break and Thanksgiving, we're just like, girl, okay. I mean, do you, boo? So I just congratulate you. Run PMC says,
Thank
"What's up,
you.
everyone, and welcome back to the boxing. Welcome back, Boxing Republic."
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. All the welcome backs.
Absolutely. Ariana said dietitian not going to work with me because can't get enough of that Indian food. G Funky. What's up, G Funky? Hello, ladies.
That's funny.
Hello. So, Ernestine, I want you to tell everybody how they can find you and what, not only how they can find you, but what you do. Like, how can you help us? How can you help the community? What do you do specifically for people that don't know what you do?
Okay, so I have 3 areas of expertise. So, of course, the first one being weight loss. So I say I make weight loss easy. So I'm not into fad diets. I'm not into restrictions. I'm not into what this diet culture. I'm not into that. So I believe in meeting my client where they are. So even if that's with Indian food, I meet them where they
Right.
are, and I
I
help
like that.
reshape what they're currently doing to help them meet their weight loss goals. Another thing that I focus on is disease management. So a lot of time, not a lot of times, just being honest, you go to the doctor, they give you a diagnosis, slap you with the prescription and call it a day. So I work with clients with managing diseases, whether it's diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. And if they're on medication, helping them move away from it or reducing it. So overall, managing whatever disease or condition may be present. And then the third one, I help people just learn what it means to be healthy and how to live a healthier lifestyle. So you'll be surprised. People don't know how to read like a nutrition label. People don't know what a balanced diet is. Just all of that. So I work with my clients to teach them that and how to eat healthy along the way throughout their journey.
I love that. So that means that you can help me get skinny eating Mexican food. I'm calling you tomorrow. How come you didn't tell me a long time ago?
Well, see, listen,
What?
it's not that black and white. Wait.
You know what's so this is something so critical. Like I see this just like I view basic banking skills. It's like, if this needs to be part of, education for,
Definitely.
the youth, right?
Hmm.
This is so critical. It's like a life skill that is so critical.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so let me hold on. I'm just replying to this. Um, we
You
had a
said,
comment
how
from
can they
Goddess
find me?
Boxeo. God bless you all. Thank you. G Funky says, good to see Boxing Republic back. So sweet. Have we talked about Andy Ruiz's tats yet? No, it's coming up. I don't know if that's the real story of the week, like you said, but we're gonna be talking about that soon. So Ernestine, tell everybody where they can find
It
you.
kind of did take over like fight week.
I know, right? Seriously, he did it on purpose. I mean, heavyweights fighting this weekend. He did it on purpose. But Ernestine, where can everybody find you so they can get your advice and your expertise?
I am on Instagram at all things nutrition with 2 underscores. And then my website is www dot, and it's a little complicated, all things nutrition.org. So Instagram and my website are the best ways to contact me.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on. And
Of
when I
course.
get
Thank you
back
for
in
having
town,
me.
you know where we're headed to our spot.
Yes.
I love you.
Crab legs. Love you
Crab
too. Bye,
legs.
ladies. It was nice meeting y'all.
Talk to you later.
Same here. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
So long live boxing. Shout out to the amazing panel. Respect to the entire chat. Welcome back. Boxing Republic. Missed hearing your boxing perspective. That's awesome. I thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, so we have Lee Groves that's going to be coming on later on, and we're going to be talking about the fights this weekend and some other things. But right now, we're going to talk about booty tats. Okay.
I got a loud ass laugh. I'm so
Look,
sorry. I got a loud ass laugh.
let me tell you. I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to start. Nancy, start. Did you
I
see
will.
Andy Ruiz's booty?
Oh, okay, yes. So I'll tell you the very first thing that came to mind, right? Like I'm processing because I went straight to the booty and I'm like, okay, no, what is this? And I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Saint Michael. right?
Oh,
And I'm like
no,
going
not
down,
Saint
and I'm like,
Michael.
he has Saint Michael, the archangel, on his ass. I'm like,
No, I did not look that deep. I'm sorry.
so I was like processing. I'm like, do we light candles around his butt, butt now? You know,
D Style says it's an Aztec warrior. I don't
that
know.
was hilarious. I just
It's
want you to know.
yeah,
Aztec warrior.
Aztec
Yeah,
warrior.
It's,
I like that.
you got the demon on the left butt cheek, or one of the butt cheeks. There's that.
I just feel like he literally cracked his ass open,
Like,
Yeah.
and they got into the crevices.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
his
have
ass.
questions.
Like
It's
I
like,
just yeah, like today I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna tap my ass crack. And then my thing is like when you go to show this tattoo off, you gotta always pull your pants down and like spread your cheeks. Like I don't
right.
get the meaning of getting his whole ass crack tatted. Like
can we just hold each
I
other
feel like
accountable for future? Like, let's make sure we are friends, because that was number 2 that came to my head. Is one, it's St. Michael. 2, we need to get Andy some friends, right?
Oh, I agree, Nancy.
Friends
Oh,
don't
yeah.
let friends tattoo butts.
That's
he
right.
must be bored with all his money that he made from his fights, and he must have
Válgame.
nothing to do. Cause I really
But
like
you know what? I kind of
don't
have to
understand why he
think,
got that.
with the fight this weekend, the heavyweights, and even on the undercard, there's like 2 heavyweights, 2 heavyweight bouts, I believe. Did he do this on purpose? Like, was this,
To get attention,
you
to
know,
steal the attention, like Floyd be doing on
yeah, like,
Canelo Fight Week.
was this
Yeah.
was this done on purpose, or maybe he got it a while back because I didn't see any scabs or whatever. And then he said no, but I'm gonna wait till this weekend to unveil, my butt cheeks.
You know what? He probably did. He probably pulled a Floyd Mayweather because Floyd always does that on Fight Week for Canelo.
Yep.
So
That's what I think.
maybe that was his. Because you know what? It did take over Twitter
It
for
did.
sure.
It took
Everybody's been
over
talking about it.
everything.
Yeah.
It did.
So,
I agree.
so thinking about what's going on in this division. So we got tatted butts, we got twerking, right? Thought I
Yes.
saw some twerking out there out of this division. What else is going on that
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
those are
that
old
is
videos of-
entertainment?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I don't get it. I want to know who the tattoo artist is. I want to know what he was thinking or not thinking, or what he wasn't thinking, because the money was good. I don't know.
Oh well, yeah, he wasn't. He's just
Anytime, Martinez Williams.
a check
Anytime.
clear.
And Lee, log on. Let's go. Let's get Lee on here. Yeah, I don't.
I really feel like Andy could have revealed this any other week, but he chose this week to unveil that ass tat. Like I can't.
There was no need, because it really could have ended at the waist, right? Like, can we talk about that?
They could have
Right.
shrunk the tattoo to fit his back, So like you really wanted needles just all in all. Like tattoos are painful, so Hi Lee. We're just
Hello, everyone.
Lee, how are
tats.
you?
I'm doing
Lee,
You came in at the right time. We're talking about booty tats.
But before I begin, I just want to say how happy I am that Nancy is
Yes.
back.
Yes.
The very fact that she is here is an answer to a lot of prayers. She's been through the mill, and I don't know what's happened.
thank you.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, she's been through the mill, and it's so wonderful that she's back.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And to be able to just jump right back in with y'all I love it. This is what makes me happy. This is my my outlet, hanging out with y'all, talking what I love. So thank you. You see, he did it. I told you.
I know you were gonna cry. I could hear
told
you like crying. Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk boxing.
I know. She said before we started, Lee's gonna make me cry tonight. I already know. And you did. But
I'm
we
so
missed you, Nancy. We did.
thank
So we're
you.
happy that you're back.
I'm so grateful, and
Absolutely.
you know, I was thinking this is, I think, the week to be back, right? Because there's like so much going on now,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
right, and I'm like, you know, this is the
It
week to
is.
catch up with y'all, to see what I've been missing, but also, you know, what else is going on that we have to look forward to.
Yep, that's true.
There is.
You know, Lee, I have a theory, and I just shared it. You know, I don't know if you heard it or not. I really believe that Andy released the photo this weekend for a reason, maybe to take some attention off of the heavyweights that are going to be battling this weekend, and a few that are on the undercard. What do you think about that? Was this planned?
Could be. I mean, the heavyweight division is in the spotlight. Maybe he just wants to say, hey, guys, I'm here. I'm out here. Don't forget about me. And very interesting way to announce that I'm here. But it worked, right? We're talking about him.
That's true. Absolutely.
Well, because, you know, when the weekends of the weekend of the Joshua and Usyk fight, nobody really brought up Andy Ruiz that much, even though he was the one that beat Anthony Joshua. So I feel like, you know, he had to remind people, like, hey, still here.
That's true. That's true. I think so. I definitely do. And, you know, the topic that everybody's been waiting for is the fights this weekend. You know, Wilder and Fury. And I've been working a lot. I have to admit that I have not seen, you know, everything that's been going on until later at night on Twitter. But so Nika, what do you think of everything that's been going on leading up to this fight?
Well, today they had a press conference, and it was very, very interesting. Wilder actually spoke on this press conference, like, you know, last one he just was muted out, had his headphones on, didn't want anything to do with any questions, didn't answer anything. Malik Scott answered everything, but this time he was definitely engaged and answered questions, and, you know, he seems like he's in a good space. And Fury, being the Fury that he was, and he was throwing jabs, and, you know, he was asking questions that needed answers, I guess, because he was the one that was being accused of cheating. He was saying that, you know, he was asking Deontay some questions, and Deontay kind of like replied saying, you know, all I see in you is nervous energy. And I want to ask the chat, did you guys feel like Fury was displaying nervous energy at the press conference? Because he didn't sit down. He was standing up the whole entire time, standing behind the chair. And he was kind of like, you know, rocking back and forth, just like he was fidgety to me. He was fidgety. He did kind of have like nervous energy. But, you know, I'm curious to see what everybody else in the chat thinks. But I feel like Wilder's definitely focused, so this is gonna be an interesting fight on Saturday, and I'm excited. I kind of don't know who's gonna win this fight. It's like that good. So, you know.
What Lee? What do you think about that? Do you think that Fury was nervous?
I think Fury wanted to put on a show. It was kind of straight up at the beginning. And it wasn't until, I think, near the end of the press conference, the final 5 minutes or so, when he started asking the questions, you know, said, hey, if you were convinced that I won because of cheating, then your guy in the dressing room, JD's, was in there. He must have been in on it too, because he saw me being gloved up. Why didn't he say anything? He also, you know, Wilder asked him, you know, if you're so confident in beating me, then why did you change? Why did you fight two different ways in the two previous fights? Well, the answer is that Fury is versatile. He can box, he can punch, he can fight southpaw, he could fight right-handed, he could fight going backwards, fight going forwards. They fought 19 rounds, and I think that of those 19 rounds, Fury has won all but 3 of them. and
agree.
he showed that
I
he
agree.
could beat him in more than one way. So I think that Fury knows that he has the psychological advantage. He wants to assert that as much as possible. I didn't think that Wilder had the best answers to. He didn't even try to answer Fury's questions, which I thought were very good. So I think in the press conference, Tyson Fury won the round, and I think he won it convincingly.
Nancy, did you get to watch that press conference?
Yes, I did, and I'm listening to everyone and the comments. So I think it can be perceived as that anxious energy, but I don't think it's like fearful anxious. I think it's let's get it on anxious, because you have to think how exhausting this has been, right? The fight's happening, it's not happening, and I'm sure both are just ready to do it, and I just think Fury was showing that frustration. He just wants to get in there and get it done. That's the vibe that I got, but I can see how it can also be perceived like just nervous for the fight. But I mean, it's Fury. I personally don't think it's
scared.
that.
Why should he be scared?
Right.
I have to agree. I don't think he's scared. I don't think that he was worried. I only saw part of it. I saw whenever he said, Wilder, if you thought I cheated, how come you changed everything about your camp, your trainer, and everybody else? And I have to agree with that. If he cheated, then what you were doing before will be just as good. You don't have to change anything. That's what I was thinking. But I didn't get to see everything. I don't know. I really believe. I mean, people want our predictions, so let's talk about our predictions. And Nika, we're going to start with you. What do you think is going to happen? Is there going to be a TKO? Is it going to be a KO? Is it going to go to decision? What is it going to be?
If there is a knockout, it's going to be by Wilder. I don't see Fury knocking Wilder out at all. That's just my opinion. I think Fury is a better boxer per se, but we can't X out Wilder's right hand. That's still always going to be there, and hopefully he added some more tools for this fight, and he sticks with them, because I think he had more than enough time to actually get comfortable with them, because this fight was so long, drawn out. That I think that's more to his advantage, to get more comfortable with everything that he's learned and added to his arsenal. The longer this fight was stretched out, he had more time to get more comfortable. But when you go in there and you go in with a plan and it doesn't go your way and it's not working, you kind of fall back to what you're used to, which is just his right hand. So I'm interested in seeing how that unfolds. So it's a toss-up, because it could go any way. I'm not really good at picking winners, but I'm not gonna lie. I think in my gut that Wilder's gonna catch him with something. I just do. I do.
So
really
second part to my question, just really quickly. So do you think that Malik has been a benefit? Do you think that he's going to bring something to the table, and we're going to see a difference?
I mean, I would hope so. They had a lot of time to gel together and work together and work on things. I think if this fight would have happened when it was initially supposed to, I don't think that Wilder would have had enough time to get comfortable with the new fighting style and things that he was adding to his arsenal. But I think it's to his advantage that this fight was drawn out, extended, postponed and all. That's why you didn't really hear Wilder's team bitch about the fight being extended that much, because they just kept working on what they were working on, and he's getting more comfortable every day with his style.
Fair. Lee, we have to know your predictions, and has Malik added something in your opinion?
I hope so, and I think that one aspect of Wilder's game that Malik Scott could improve is the jab. Wilder earlier in his reign had a very good shotgun jab. It was hard, it was accurate, it was effective. And in recent years, Wilder has fallen in love with his one-punch knockout power. To the point, I mean, after the Brazil fight, where he just dropped him like a sack of potatoes, there was serious conversation by some serious people that maybe Deontay Wilder is the hardest shot-for-shot hitter in boxing history. I don't necessarily agree with that, but there was talk, and the evidence was there on camera. And so, and also the Luis Ortiz rematch, he would just wait and wait and wait, and he let Ortiz win a lot of rounds. But then in round 7, he found the opening that he was looking for, and it just took one, and that was it. The fight was over. So he got away from all of the things that set up that power. And Malik Scott, when he was fighting, he had a very good jab. I think his nickname was 8072 because he always won his fights by shutout, and he was a boxer. So if anybody could inject that part of his game back into Deontay Wilder's game, I think it's Malik Scott. And I think that just throwing the jab, landing the jab, throwing his punches straighter, that's going to be, I think, part of the fight plan there.
So,
but
I have to ask you,
go ahead.
Who you're picking?
I am picking Fury to win on points. I think it's going to go the distance because I do think that Wilder is going to fight a lot better than he did in the rematch, because really things couldn't have gone much worse for him in the second fight. So he really has nowhere to go but up in that regard. And he'll always be dangerous. Nika is right about that. He has that power, and he scored knockouts late in fights. So that power is going to be there from round 1 to round 12. I mean, he almost knocked Fury out in round 12. I was there at ringside. I was counting Wilder, and when he landed that big, I think it was a big hook to the jaw, and he fell flat on the canvas, I said, that's it. My night's over. I don't have to punch any more buttons, and that's it. And then when Fury started to get up, I looked at my partner. We looked at each other and go, "Oh my God, he's actually getting up!" And so we went back into fight mode, and Fury actually put together a nice counterattack in the final round. So Wilder is dangerous. He is going to be dangerous,
Absolutely.
But I think that it's going to be, historically speaking, they don't throw a lot of punches. So I think it's going to be, I think the tenor of the fight is going to be determined in the first 3 rounds. If it's going to be a knockout, both of them are going to go for it, and I think we'll get a vibe of what their fight plans are going to be. If Wilder doesn't establish himself, if he doesn't hurt Fury in the first 3 rounds, I think that the fight is all but over. It'll be Fury by decision because he's the better ring general. And really, Tyson Fury is an anomaly. He's 6 feet 9 inches tall. He has an 85-inch reach, but he can move. He has those hand and foot feints, and he can tie guys up into absolute knots with it. And by being taller and rangier, he presents a completely different picture to Deontay Wilder than any other opponent, because Deontay is 6'7". He's used to being the taller guy with the longer reach. Well, now he's fighting an athletic guy who is taller and rangier than he is. So and not only that, he proved in the second fight that he can knock Deontay Wilder out and dominate him and physically imposed his size and will on him. So I think the versatility, the fact that he has beaten him in more ways than one, and the fact that I think they've got to shake off 20 months of ring rust as well.
Absolutely.
That could play a factor as well. That could lengthen the fight out. So I think that if any, both can score a knockout, but I have a replay of fight number 1 playing behind me. I think he's
Yes,
going
see
to
that.
use elements of his fight plans in fight 1 and 2. He's going to mix them together to
Okay.
keep Wilder guessing. And Wilder's trying to learn new things too under Malik Scott. He's going to be trying things that he hasn't done in years. And there's that unfamiliarity, that hesitation. Like he's not going to be fighting naturally. It's like he's going to be thinking, well, what do I got to do next? I got to tighten up my jab. So while he's thinking about tightening up his jab, Fury is fighting like Fury. He doesn't have to change a thing. So that hesitancy could also work against Wilder.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you on that. I really do. Yeah. Nancy, what are your predictions? What do you think?
So assuming that I don't think there'll be a knockout, assuming that Wilder has made the necessary adjustments and that he has now become a coachable fighter. I think that this will go the distance, and I would have Fury by decision. I think that something, as I've been thinking about it, I think that there's still there's still a lot going on, I think, mentally from the prior fight with Wilder. We saw that in the early stages of promoting the fight, right, where the silence and awkward interviews, Fury has been the one that's been very vocal. So for people that are now, questioning, is he nervous? Is he anxious? He's been very vocal and he's been very outspoken from the beginning and doing interviews. And I mean, he's just ready to get it on. And Wilder really hasn't, right? So I think that there's still that mental aspect of all of this that we have to take into consideration. And considering that, I think that Wilder's still going in with, call it the regrets or the disappointment from the prior fight. I just don't think that he's mentally where he needs to be to come in and win this. I don't want to take, yes, he's a strong fighter. I don't want to take that away, but I think mentally he's just still on the previous fight, and I also think that while Fury is going to be just, on this guy, and that weight is going to give. And so I do foresee, Wilder just kind of tiring out in the later rounds. Fury's going to make him carry him, right? So that's going to be impactful, and that's why I think that this is going to go the distance, and we're going to have a win by decision on Fury and Fury's camp.
I really think that Wilder's been just more focused, is what, like, he's been just trying to stay out of like the social media hoopla, and he's just been focused because, like, not for nothing, social media is like a circus, on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. So there's no need for him if he's trying to be focused and at the task at hand, and so I don't really think he's like, I don't see it the way you see it, Nancy. I feel like he's just more focused, and he's just trying to keep the noise out, and he just has one goal and he's focused on, and that's it,
And I interpret it as anxiety because he has been so vocal in the past, right? And now he chooses not to. It could be that he's focused, but I also interpret that as anxiety. I guess it can be viewed both ways. Like I see your point as well, but because historically he hasn't been this, that's why I'm gathering that as well. Yeah. But it's going to make for a great fight.
And Ari Boxing says Fury has been the one with mental health issues. Why question Wilder's mentality? Well, I mean, I can answer that. It's not about his mental state per se,
right?
But boxing is mental, and if you've lost to this guy, okay, you got the draw, and then you lost. It does kind of mess with you mentally. I mean, it really does. You can't help but think, I've got to beat him now. Like, I have to come back and avenge my loss and my draw, which a lot of people think that, Fury won the first one as well. So I think that's more of what we're talking about, not so much anything else.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, that I see those as two different things. Ari Boxing Talk. This is, you know, solely as it pertains to this fight, not their overall mental health, right? So
Yes.
I think that's separate from all of this, you know.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
There's mental
diagnosed
health struggles,
issues.
there's
Sure.
addiction struggles, you know. No, I'm just speaking solely the state of mind with regards to this fight in particular. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
And
oh,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Teddy Atlas often talks about shadows, you know, the memories, the bad memories of the last time that you were in the ring. Deontay Wilder was knocked down. He was bloodied. He was beaten up. Mark Breland stopped the fight because he thought that Deontay Wilder was close to being irreparably harmed. He did the right thing by throwing in the towel.
Absolutely.
Deontay Wilder is a warrior. He's the ultimate
Yes.
warrior. He will fight to the bitter, bitter end. And to
Yes.
hear him talk after the fight, he was willing to die in the ring.
Yes.
That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to keep on fighting because he was undefeated. He didn't want to lose his title. He didn't want to lose his zero. And he didn't want to lose to Fury above anybody else because of the way he talks and the way that he could not stomach the fact that he would have a KO bye on his record to Tyson Fury. I'm sure it absolutely galled him. And and he saw Breland's actions as a act of betrayal. And he acted accordingly months later, but he acted accordingly. He's no longer in the corner. And, you know, that's his business. And Deontay Wilder, you can never question his willingness to fight, to willingness to engage.
Absolutely.
And that's what animates him. And he wants very much to prove to everybody, you know, he's the underdog. I was part of the ringtv.com poll, Fight Picks poll. 19 out of 20 picked Fury to win, including me. The one person that voted for Wilder is Jolene Mazzoni. And Jolene has been on a hot streak lately. I think she picked Usyk. She picked several other upsets. So when if Jolene Mazzoni thinks that Wilder can win, take her seriously. Take her seriously. She knows her stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Julius Streeter, he says Fury has a history of mental lapses and drug addiction, and yes, he does. And you know, I saw him on an interview recently, and he said he works out not for his body, but for his mental state, his mental sanity. And when he said that, I said, you know what, I can totally relate to that personally, because we should all work out and we should be in shape and try to be the best we can be. But me too, if I don't work out, my mental and emotional state is totally off. So I could totally feel what Fury was saying. And if we think about it, back when he was overweight, he was on drugs. So obviously he wasn't working out. And I think right now he's in the best shape of his life. Does he talk a little crazy? Yeah, he does. He does. But I
don't think he looks in shape. I don't think he looks like the best shape of his life.
Maybe the Klitschko
compared to
no
previous years.
He's picked up more weight, and I think it was for this fight, so he says. But I feel like he hasn't, in my opinion, I don't feel like he's taken this fight as serious as the first and second fight. I feel like he tried to do everything in his power to not have this third fight. So I don't feel like he was into it. Like I saw before he caught COVID, you know, he was out on the beach having like strength passerbyers rub, you know, sunscreen oil over his body, and I'm like, this guy is not really like into this fight. And then a couple of days later, he got COVID, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like he didn't want this fight. He was already working on Joshua and Fury. He was
Yeah,
looking on that
I
fight.
think
That's the
he was.
fight that he wanted.
Yeah,
So he
I
was
believe
doing
that.
Right,
everything in his
everybody
power
wanted.
to not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's why I feel like his heart was not in this third fight. So I don't feel like he's been giving his all. That's just
That's
my
good. That's a
opinion.
good point. Long Live Boxing said, "Do y'all feel that this will be the final fight between them, regardless of who wins Saturday night?"
I
I'm just
hope
gonna
so.
say real quick. I hope so. I hope so. Nika, what do you
I
think?
hope so. I hope
What
there's
was the
not a
question?
rematch clause.
The offensive fight. I mean, I hope so too. Yeah.
I'm done. Like, this has been
Yeah,
exhausting with these two.
it
I
has.
one thing I'll throw out there, just because I appreciate everybody's comments. It's always great to read everybody's thoughts about the fight. I was a Wilder fan when he first came out.
Hmm.
And I started to just kind of distance myself as a fan, just because I thought, he's starting to now get too cocky. There was just like some behaviors, and I was like, I don't know if I like him as much, right? But I was a fan, and yes, he has what fans like, which is that punch power, that he's relied on, that hit, right, that fans look for. So over the years, in the last couple of fights, I can't really, and maybe Lee, you can help me with this. I can't really put my finger on it. And it wasn't for things outside of the ring. I just felt like either there was a change in his style. I just, there was something that I just saw, what, he's not the same. And I'm not even talking about the fight that he just, the previous fight where he lost. I'm like, what's different? I just felt like he wasn't the same. So that's one thing, Lee. I'd love to get your thoughts if there was something that you thought maybe had changed. But before I turn it over to you, I'll say real quick, it'll be interesting if, he's disciplined to stick to the game plan, during the fight, because, that was a challenge for him in the last fight, going back to, he's the fighter, but he's got his corner, and listening to the corner and sticking to the game plan, right, and being coachable. It'll be interesting if we'll see that in the fight, and for him and his career. Like, I hope that we do. I hope that we do see that, because he just completely lost and went rogue, and look where it got him.
I think I said earlier that one of the big things that changed with Wilder as his title reign went on was him getting away from his jab and relying so much on
Yes,
his
you did say that.
punch power. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's good, Malik Scott can get him back on that track, because that's the kind of fighter that he was. In years past, I thought that the pairing of Mark Breland and Deontay Wilder was perfect, because Breland as a welterweight is much like Wilder as a heavyweight. They're both built similarly. They're both tall and long and big reach and big right hand and work the jab. They were mirror images of each other. Totally stylistically. If anybody can teach Wilder to maximize his gifts, it was Mark Breland, because he fought that way. And similarly, Malik Scott has assets that I think Wilder needs to get back to a better version of himself. And I did see the comment below about Ring Magazine, we all hate Wilder, and all. No, it's not about hate. I like Deontay Wilder. I like JD's. JD's and I, we talk on the phone every so often. I like him. I like Deontay. And it's just based on what I've seen. It's based on what I perceive the styles to be, the style mix. I thought that in the first fight, Fury won 9 rounds to 3, 2 knockdowns, 115, 111. Wilder won the knockdown rounds and one other on my card, just because I thought that Fury was the ring general, and his ring generalship and clean punching negated Wilder's attempts to be the effective aggressor. So you have the 4 criterion of judging: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. And Tyson Fury won 3 of those and prevented Wilder from doing the 4th. And then in the second fight, he called a shot. He told everybody what he was going to do, including Deontay Wilder. He said he was going to weigh 270 pounds. He weighed 273. He said he was going to go right at Deontay Wilder, which to me was suicidal. Going at one of the biggest punchers in the current era, going at him especially when you were successfully outboxing him in the first fight. I picked Wilder to win by a knockout because he proved that he could put Tyson Fury on the floor. Well, I was totally wrong in the second fight, and I admit that. So Fury called his shot. He did everything that he said he was going to do. So, when Tyson Fury talks about how he's going to fight Deontay Wilder, I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen now. So based on what I saw in the first 2 fights, you got to go with the guy who I thought won 16 of the 19 rounds that they have fought. It's not about hate. It's about what you see. And I've been proven wrong before, and I'll be proven wrong again. All we can do is provide our best guess based on experience and expertise and all that. It's part of being a boxing fan. It's a fun part of being a boxing fan.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
But the biggest.
Oh, go ahead, Danica.
No, the biggest show for the weekend is going to be on Twitter after.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
The Wilder fans and the Fury fans are going to be up in arms. Either one of them are going to be upset, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
NJNP said, "What about the 20-second count by Jack Reese? What did y'all think about that?"
On the first fight,
22 seconds. It wasn't 22 seconds, and it's very similar to what happened with Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. Okay, so it is the referee's job to coordinate his count with that of the timekeeper. Okay, ideally they should be in total sync with each other.
Yes.
But we all know that really the fighter's only responsibility is to get up by the referee's count of 10, no matter how fast or how slow it is being rendered. Now, I saw a video in which Jack Reese's count was almost on 10, maybe a little longer, but not egregiously longer. But Buster Douglas got up by Octavio Meyran. That was a very slow count. But he also did the very slow count when Mike Tyson went down. So he was consistent. I don't think that you could accuse Octavio Meyran of total bias one way or the other. And I don't think that Jack Reese was showing bias one way or the other. Each man did what he had to do. And frankly, the fact that Fury got up at all is a miracle, because he got hit with 2 flush shots from Deontay Wilder in the final round of a demanding fight. Unbelievable heart. And it was a microcosm of his life outside the ring. He had to overcome being 400 pounds, mental health issues.
Yep.
He got himself back into the ring.
Yes.
He's fighting Deontay Wilder for the heavyweight championship of the world. Who would have thought a year before that he would even be in that position? So for him to get up off the canvas in what seemingly was a hopeless situation, in the ring mirrored what happened outside the ring. It was kind of poetic in that way.
They both have such great stories, and I'm going to tell you that out of these fights, I've learned so much more about each of them throughout, because there's that Twitter war, right? So everybody's defending their guy, and I've learned a lot about them. And one thing about Fury that I enjoyed learning was just the the family history of boxing, right? Like just the history of the sport within his family. I thought was a neat one. Kind of having it in the blood type of deal, right? But they both are coming to the ring with a great story. So it's a win-win for the fans, but I am hoping like we're done with, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really
for
am.
sure.
I
Absolutely.
really am, and it'll be interesting to see what they each do after this, right? Assuming we get our wish and it's over with, and there is
Absolutely.
no rematch.
Absolutely. And we'll move on, but I just wanted to know what y'all thought about Shelly Finkel, Wilder's manager, saying that, he didn't know if Fury, cheated or not. He never would admit it. Do you think that he knew something that we don't know, or he knows his guy? Nika, what do you think about that?
I think he was being a businessman. He's not gonna like say anything that will potentially hurt his business later on in the future. So he has to answer politically correct,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nancy, what do you think? Why
Yeah.
why did he stay neutral and say, he didn't know, and he wasn't going to say that he did cheat. He didn't know. What do you think he was thinking, or what was he doing?
I agree with Nika on this. I think he's definitely thinking the reputational risk of anything that comes out of his mouth, right? Because he'll be eaten alive by the fans, but I think from a business standpoint, there's an impact there. So yeah, I'm with Nika on this one. I think the same thing.
Okay, Lee, what do you think about that?
I think Shelley Finkel was being like a lawyer, being very conscious. If he
Yes,
didn't
a
witness it
lawyer. Yes.
himself, if he didn't witness it himself, he's not going to speculate. Just like I wasn't there, I'm not going to speculate. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. So
Right.
anything that I would say and he would say would be speculation. So it's better to just err on the side of caution.
I agree, and I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate. Do you think, just like a lawyer, that's defending his client, you pretty much know the character of the person that you're representing to an extent, and do you think that maybe he knows this guy too, and so he just didn't really want to say, yeah, or no. He just wanted to keep it neutral because maybe he cheated, maybe he didn't cheat, but he couldn't totally go against, Wilder. Maybe he knows his guy, he knows Wilder. Maybe, he thinks that Fury didn't cheat, but he's not going to go against Wilder. What do you think that he just stayed neutral because he didn't want to, I don't know, tarnish Wilder's name? He wouldn't have gotten paid, obviously, later on, but
He didn't
I
want to
don't
be a
know.
part of that story either.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
he's a background guy.
Right.
And he's not a front and center guy. That's not his history. He handles the business, and he's very good at what he does. I think he's in the Hall of Fame, I believe. So,
I
he's
think
there.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was enshrined in the Hall of Fame, and he's there. It's there for a reason. He knows his business. He knows his role. He's not the star of the show. His clients are the star of the
There
show.
you go. Yep.
Yeah,
And I like that.
absolutely.
And I respect
Yeah.
that. And I appreciate that, by the
I
way.
do too. I do too. I do too. So there's a few guys on the undercard that I'm excited about, and some that I'm not. For me, what is it? I can't even pronounce the last name. Helonis and Kawanki.
Oh, Hellenius.
Hellenius. Yes, thank you.
Hellenius.
Okay, I'm just gonna say really quickly. I personally am not interested in the rematch. We know who won the first time, and I think it's going to be even worse the second time. Nancy, do you know anything about these guys, and what do you think about this rematch?
No, that this is actually one of the things I'm glad that it came up, because I was actually looking forward to learning from y'all, specific to to this particular match, because I don't have any insight.
Okay, Lee, did you get to see the fight?
Yeah, I did some research for CompuBox on this, and
Okay.
So Robert Hellenius, he's a giant guy.
Tough.
And he, he doesn't look like a drama king,
Right.
but his fights are dramatic.
Yes.
He had a fight against Erkin Tepper a few years back, and it looked like he was going to lose the fight. And then all of a sudden he turns it around and he wins. Turns it around immediately.
Right.
Then against Gerald Washington, it looked like he was on his way to a win. And then all of a sudden he gets nailed with a punch in the 8th round, one punch, and a win turns into a loss.
Right.
And then the first fight against Adam Kovnatsky, who he's going to be fighting on Saturday, Kovnatsky was winning easily. He was dominating the first 3 rounds. And then Hellenius turns it around in round 4 and he knocks him out. So he's the drama king of the heavyweight.
When was this, Lee?
But
This was
drop him twice. He dropped him twice, or
Yeah.
once was a knockdown. The other one I think was ruled a slip or something.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
All I know is
yeah.
that it was a fourth round knockout, I believe. And
Yes.
so based on the fact that Kovnatsky was dominating the first 3 rounds, and if he doesn't have those shadows in his head from suffering a knockout the last time around, this is an immediate rematch, like Fury Wilder 3 is an immediate rematch. And so they've had a lot of time to think about it and to train for it and all that. If Kovnatsky, I think, is the better fighter, but Hellenius, because of the history I just detailed, you've got to watch out for him.
Yeah, I think he's awkward. He has an awkward style that you can't predict, and I think that's why he is dangerous. And he did win, and I think he's going to win again. I mean, I just do. I don't know, but so Nika, we're talking about that. I can't even pronounce the names. Hellenius and Kawanki. Is that right? Okay.
Sounds like a gladiator. It sounds very, Roman Empire gladiator.
Greek.
They're gonna have a repeat.
Like
I think they're gonna have a repeat of the fight.
Yes. Run PMC. We're definitely going to talk about Jogba and Frank Sanchez for sure. Like
Definitely.
that is a great match. I love that. Nancy, do you know anything about this fight? And if not, we will go to Nika, and then we will go to Lee.
Yeah, no, turn it over to Nika. I'm
Okay, Nika.
I'm back and catching up with y'all. So fill me in.
No worries at all. Do you know anything about the fight, Nika?
Yeah, I have Efe winning that fight. But I do feel like he had a little buzz when he went to Top Rank he had just been signed by Top Rank, and it kind of died down. So I'm hoping that he makes like a big statement on Saturday on the card. But I have Efe over Sanchez. Sorry.
Okay.
That was for run PNC.
Yeah, exactly. So Lee, this is a good matchup. What do you think? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match because you've got two undefeated guys going up against each other at this point of their careers. Sanchez, I believe, in the last few fights has sort of he's changed his ring temperament. Earlier in his career, he was a technical boxer, and he was from the Cuban school. Yes, he accompanied his skill with power, but he wasn't overly aggressive. In his last few fights, he has taken more of the initiative. He has come forward. He has asserted his power. He has a different attitude. But the common thread is that Sanchez has won his fights pretty easily. He hasn't really been challenged. Efe Ajagba presents a physical and a physical challenge. He's taller. He's got a long reach. And Ajagba, the centerpiece of his offense is his jab. He knows how to keep a guy away with the jab, and he hits like a truck too.
Yes.
So
nice body shot too. Yeah.
And he's also been challenged. I think Kaladze knocked him down, and he had to get. It was a hard knockdown too, and so he had to get up and show resiliency. He also had a fight where he fought with an injury for the good part of a fight, so he had to deal with that adversity, and he's still undefeated. So I
feel like
think
he's gonna
that
try to make a big statement.
Ajagba is more battle tested. I think that he has fought under the bright lights. I think he has better experience in that regard. He's taller. He has a longer reach. He's technically sound. He knows how to use the jab. He has power. I think everything points toward Ajagba winning the fight.
Yeah, this
You
is
know, I will
definitely.
share that I do know that he's, of course, he's from Texas, right? But I felt like he had just turned pro. That just goes to show how these years are just passing me by. It felt like he had just turned pro not that long ago.
Mm,
No,
I'm
didn't
not
he just
sure.
sign with Top Rank not too long ago? Maybe you're mistaken him just signing with Top Rank not too long ago.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. You know, this is
Okay.
definitely a battle between a boxer puncher. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah,
Sanchez is a
2017.
boxer and he's got heavy hands, but Ajagba he's heavy in both hands. You know, and he can move. He uses length very well. You know, a lot of tall guys sometimes they get tangled up and whatever, but he definitely can use his reach. Strong overhand right. I don't know. This is a great matchup. I'm excited about this one. If I have to pick somebody, I think that Ajagba is not as I don't know polished is Sanchez, but
Mhm.
I think that he can pull it off, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, somebody say if it was with PBC, so he recently signed with Top Rank
Oh,
not too long
okay.
ago.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I
Never
have to
forget
pick,
the fight in which he has a record that will never be broken. He won a fight
When the guy
at
walked out the
one
ring,
second of the opening round when the other guy
yes,
when the
walked
guy
out of
yes,
walked
the
out the
ring.
ring, right?
yes. Walked
The
in
guy
and
walked
walked
right out
out.
the way. Oh,
I remember
hey, they
that.
didn't have his money right. They didn't have his money right. You know,
That's true.
they didn't
He's
have
like,
his
if I'm
money
gonna get
right. I
knocked
saw. You know
out, I
what?
better
I'm
get
not even
paid.
mad. Yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
have
if
his
I'm gonna
money
get
right.
knocked out, I got to be paid. Remy said
Yeah.
Sanchez wins. I'm excited about that. That's a good matchup.
Good fight.
Micah, you were mentioning some other people on the card. Who's somebody that you're looking forward to? What matchup are you looking forward to on that undercard?
Well, there is Big Baby Anderson, but
Yes.
to be honest, when I looked up they who his opponent was, they hadn't had one announced yet at that time when I looked at it.
Okay.
So I don't even know who he's fighting, but um,
He's fighting a guy
you
named
know,
Vladimir Tereshkin.
okay. When did
Mm,
He's
they announce that?
undefeated.
Because I feel like Big Baby has been dragged through the mud uh for Fury's training camp. Supposedly he's the one that like knocked him out or like hurt him in training camp or something. So
I have
I
a
feel
kid
like
in
he
camp right now that was sparring Fury like right before he came to camp. I'm just gonna throw that out
yeah.
there.
Mhm.
So I feel like Big Baby has to make a statement too, just get that little stain they try to put on him during the training camp for Fury.
Yeah.
But I didn't see I don't well, obviously I didn't know the name of the opponent until you just said it now, so I have to see who he's gonna be fighting, but he's been doing good so far. They're knocking people out. Um, so hopefully we'll
And
get
now,
a big name in there with him, you know, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel
I
like
think it's
they're
about
like
time.
they're babysitting a lot of these fighters, just trying to get them wins on their records, but they're not putting them in there with
Yeah.
any real contenders, you know. So
Yeah, NJNP Big
we'll
Baby
see.
Anderson needs a challenge. I think it's time. You know, I was with him. He was on Team USA, and I was with him, and he is very talented. He is very strong. But I do have, and I like the kid. I love his coach, Kekaroma. But I think it's time. You know, to put a little bit more of a challenge out in front of him for sure. You know, Nancy,
So
what is there anybody on the
yeah,
undercard that you're excited to see, or is it just all
I
about the main event?
It's about the main event, but it really is all about the card too, because I think really what I'm excited about is that it's all heavyweight fights, right? Unless I'm wrong or missed something.
Well, on the pay-per-view it is. There's some lower
Okay,
weight fights on the undercard.
On the card, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But that to me is exciting. I like the heavyweight fights, and I think the boxing
Somebody
fans.
said Berlinga's fighting.
So
Berlinga's fighting as well. Like somebody just said in the chat, Berlinga is fighting as well. And last fight was the fight that he kind of stopped his streak for the knockout streak that he had.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he's gonna get back in there this weekend to try to get that streak going again.
Yes.
But I also feel like he needs to be challenged a little more as well.
So as far as who Big Baby is fighting, his name is Vladimir Tereshkin. He's a native of Russia. He's a southpaw, but he is known to switch hit. He's got a record of 22-0-1, but this is his first fight since November 2019, so he's coming off a pretty long layoff. He's won 14 in a row since suffering his only blemish, which was back in 2008. It was a draw. He's on a 4-fight KO winning streak, but his level of opposition isn't that great. But in comparison to the fighters that Anderson has fought so far, I do think that Tereshkin is a step up the ladder. I still think he'll win, but he is a step up the ladder. I think it's a calculated risk, you might say.
Okay. That's good to know. I'm excited about that, most definitely. Shoeshine Boxing in the house. Hello.
Did I hear correctly? I'm so sorry to ask you to repeat yourself, but did someone say Berlanga's fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting Marcelo Cosares of Argentina.
So I know nothing about him, Lee. What do you know about him? Is this going to be a challenge for him? Because he definitely needs one, like Nika was stating before.
Against an Argentinian fighter, that's pretty good.
I mean, they're heavy-handed. They are, but skill-wise, do you think that this is a good step up for him?
I think it is. Because he fought Billy Joe Saunders back in November 2019. He challenged for the WBO super middleweight title. And it was a close fight. It was a really close fight. Saunders had a very off night, and Cosares hung in there and until Saunders knocked him out in the 11th round. Since then, he's fought 3 times. He won. They were all in Argentina. He split 2 fights against a fellow Argentinian fighter. He's coming off a 2-round tune-up knockout in Argentina. I think that based on I do think that since this guy fought for a world title, he has 30 victories in his career. I think that this is another, and Berlanga is ranked, world ranked. So now he has to fight guys who, if he beats them, he would move up in the ranking.
Right.
He's sort of trapped because he scored all these first-round knockouts and he got into the ratings and all that. And he's still in a learning phase.
Absolutely.
Agreed. I think he's going to learn from this guy. I see him winning, but it's if he knocks out this guy, especially fast, that's going to be a statement. But I do think that it's going to go rounds. I think the pressure is off now because there's no more 1-round knockout streak. There's no more knockout streak. He went the distance in his last fight. So I think that this is now the part of his career where he's going to learn. He's going to pick up experience that will help him when he eventually challenges for a championship. I think this is a smart matchup.
That's really good to know. Yes, David, Andrew Castro. Yes, we did talk about that. He's definitely going to be a challenge. Be sure, please, everybody hit the like button. Absolutely. Thank you, Boxing Republic. So moving on a little bit. So Matchroom picks up Lopez, kambosos. Nika, I was working today. I didn't get that news. You are our woman of news. Let me know what's going on with that.
So Eddie Hearn tweeted that they are now staging the Kambosos and Lopez fight because they were the next in line in the bid. So Triller lost those privileges, and they actually can't bid on an IBF fight, I guess, until April of 2022, if I'm not mistaken, because they defaulted on this fight. They haven't announced a date or a location yet, but damn, Triller really like screwed the pooch on this.
What a
They really
mess.
screwed the pooch on this. Like it was a big mess, and and then they asked Bob Arum about how about this fight and why what does he think about Teofimo Lopez uh having fought and since hasn't had a fight since the Loma fight in over a year now, I guess. And
Yeah.
Aaron was giving his opinion. He said this is a travesty and da da da. And then Mike Coppinger said, "Well, this wouldn't happen if it wouldn't went into purse bid." And
I
then
saw.
Bob Arum told me, "Shut the fuck up and get out of here. Get
Get
this
him
guy
out of here.
out
I
of here."
saw that. Oh my gosh, that was such
But
a
this
Aaron's
fight
on a
has
roll.
been a mess. Yeah, but this fight has been a mess from the beginning. Like Lopez was all on cloud nine when this bid was won by Trilla, and then I don't know if the first delay was no the first date change was because I think Mayweather's fight was on that weekend or something, so they moved the date, and then the second delay was because Lopez contracted COVID, so and then again they scheduled a fight at the Hulu Center, MSG. Then they changed it again to the Barclays Center, but then
yeah.
Kambosos didn't sign on. So this was just like a mess. So I kind of feel like this fight has a nasty, dirty cloud over it. So would it be out of the craziness that Kambosos might take this win? That would just put the icing on the cake for how crazy this fight has been since the beginning. The scheduling that Kambosos just pulls this win out of his ass. Like,
Lee, what's going
I
on with
wouldn't be
Triller?
surprised.
What is the deal?
I have no idea, and I'm not sure they do either. But they did put on a pretty well received card not too long ago, where Pablo Cesar Cano was knocked out, Michael Dutchover fought. It was a pretty good card. It was a real boxing card, and so they're capable of doing it. But I think that what they're trying to do is something similar to what happened with, let's say, KO Nation. HBO did that. Thunderbox back in the 1990s, where you meld, reality show elements, rock and roll, music acts and whatever with boxing. And basically you're trying to serve two completely different audiences. And unless you like both, the boxing people are going to watch the boxing and ignore the music. The music people are going to listen to the music, and they don't know much about the boxing. So I don't know if it's going to work. They're going to try. They've tried. We'll see how it goes. But considering all the things that happened with this particular fight, and really, at the time that Triller won the bid, Teofimo's relationship with Top Rank was in flux. And in the interim, Teofimo re-signed. He mended fences with Arum. He re-signed. And that guaranteed to Triller that they were only going to have Teofimo for that one fight, and then he's going to go away.
Yep.
So that kind of changes the dynamic there. What motivation do they have to really go all out for him when they know they're going to lose him the next time out? I don't know. I mean, this is just total speculation on my part.
I mean, is anybody even interested in this fight anymore? Like, I mean, do we
I think
even
they're
care?
going to do their best with the trash talk. I mean, they've done plenty of trash talking with each other. And in the lead up they'll do a nice job of reviving the juice in that regard.
Like, I'm over this fight. I'm over the fight.
Honestly, I mean, I am a Lopez fan. I am, but this is really, even for me, it's been dragging on, and it's like it's lost its luster a little bit. But we'll see. I mean, it may turn out to be amazing. I don't know.
And then just the topic of Triller just continues to come up in regards to like its success or lack thereof, and everything that we've been hearing since this Triller fighting started. People aren't getting paid, that there's struggles, that there's butting heads, that the business model is failing, the investors. I mean, this is not helping, right? Any image that they're trying to keep and any business model that they're trying to keep afloat, this is not helping at all. And if they were looking to, it did. And, I'm sure that Lopez and his camper, sitting and just kind of, looking at each other like, what do we do? Or what did we do? Right.
And then there were people that quit the organization too. That doesn't help either.
Not at all.
A lot of people got screwed out of the undercard fights that were on that initial card that was supposed to be because I think Franchon Cruz was on that original card, and they X'd her fight out altogether.
That was horrible.
And that was an undisputed fight. That's been
exactly. So they just canceled that altogether, and I'm just like, wow. And
it's terrible.
It's terrible.
I feel bad for the both of them.
Absolutely.
Well, and the impact that this has, like, there's a cascading effect to all of this, right? Because it's not just the loss at the level of the fight, it's everything else that comes with it, like vendor relations agreements, right? People are still going to have to get paid even if dates were, canceled or changed. What do those contracts look like? I mean, the loss monetarily can be pretty substantial overall when you have something like this cancel, especially with what they were looking to put together, where it is a full-on show, right? It is music, it is entertainment, slap fight fest or whatever. Like it's I mean, so much
YouTube fights. The slap fighting, Ric Flair, the whole thing. It sometimes I ended up, it was a completely different aura after having watched some of those shows. And then there are some shows where we were satisfied. We had good fights. So I don't know whether it's growing pains. I don't know whether it's I don't know what it is, but
it's, I not to get boring on y'all, having sat on the other side of what comes to the table as these amazing, so cool business plans, right? And I've been on the other side, and I'm just like, that sounds amazing. That's so much fun. So how are you going to make it work, right? And when you don't have the banking from maybe large financial institutions, and you have investors, a lot of the things that should be there to ensure that stuff like this doesn't happen aren't there, right? Unfortunately. So I think I have zero insight into this. This is just outside looking in. I think that it does very likely, have to do from with the relations with the money source, right? That was backing up all this craziness, and
who's doing it?
Whatever did or didn't come from what they thought was going to be all glitter and rainbows. Exactly. I'm guilty though. To your point, like there's been some good stuff that's come out of this. Drunk Oscar. There's been getting what was
Roy
it? I'm trying to
put on a pretty
Mount
decent
Westmore, right? Like Ice Cube and everyone.
Yeah,
So
no, Roy and Tyson had the fight, but then remember Tyson was talking. He was bitching about he didn't get
mhm.
paid right away neither. So
Yeah,
we should have
yeah,
known
yeah.
there was something going on
Right, right,
right
right.
then and there.
And
Absolutely.
not to digress, like from your initial question about, Teofimo, and am I still looking forward to it? I am, because I'm with you, Christine. I want to watch him fight, So I'm looking forward to it. But man, how long is it going to be now
You know
Exactly.
after all
what's
of
really
this?
intriguing about that fight? Because Tiafimo, one, he's coming off more than a year layoff, and he's
Mm-hmm.
coming off a mountaintop moment, a signature victory over Vasily Lomachenko. This is the
Yep, the
first
momentum.
chapter of the rest of his boxing career, and
Absolutely.
he's not
Mm-hmm.
fighting a marquee guy. So,
Right.
is he going to be that mature champion who comes in ready to go, ready to dominate, and be at that peak the way that he was against Lomachenko?
I
You
feel like
treat
that
everybody
Loma.
the same, like they're the biggest challenge of your life. Or did the time off, you know, have a bad effect on him? Is he going to
Right.
overlook this guy? I don't think
I
he
think
is. I think Teofimo wants to put on a show. He always wants to put on a show for the people. And I don't. If it's still going to be at Barclays, uh, he's going to have that audience to perform in front of and show off against. I
Absolutely.
think that Tiafimo is going to win the fight. He's going to knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Me too.
and you know, but I'm interested to see which Tiafimo we're going to see. Are we going to see the Tiafimo that came on strong late against Lomachenko, or are we going to see the guy whose mind was occupied, like against Nakatani?
mm.
Yeah.
I just feel
Yeah,
like
that's
that
very
Hey,
that
hey.
that Loma momentum has died. Like I see people on social media, like every time he posts something,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "We don't care. Yeah, we don't care. Where's your fight?" Like they're over it. They are over it. So he has to like do something spectacular in this fight so he can get people excited about him again. Because that momentum that he had from that Loma win has completely died. Like nobody
Did y'all
cares.
see that
Yeah.
tweet from Haney? So Haney tweeted just I think a couple of days ago and said that he felt bad for Teofimo because he knew Teofimo had plans for that money. Did y'all see
He was
that
being
tweet?
sarcastic. He didn't. He was
yeah,
being very
That's why I'm
sarcastic.
bringing it up.
He was being sarcastic.
yeah.
He was being
Yep.
funny.
And
Like he
so
throwing digs. He was definitely throwing digs.
yeah,
Um,
and there's going to be a lot more. I think especially if we start to see that there's a longer delay in getting him back in the ring.
But
absolutely.
he has
We
lost a year of his prime, and he did lose that
yes.
momentum. Nika's right about that.
Right, right. And yeah, and the fans are wanting to know like what can he do, what's next, and they have it has lost to luster. It has. I totally believe that. But I think once he gets back in the ring and shows the fans again who he is and what he's doing, then I think we're gonna get it back. That's my opinion. I don't know.
I mean, because Loma
We
He's
had a
already
one
had a
question.
fight.
spectacular knockout away from getting his momentum back.
Right. I really
Like
believe that.
Loma already had a fight, and I think he's gonna fight again in December. So
Yeah,
that means he would have two
against Richard
fights
Comey.
since that.
My goodness, that's a
Yeah,
good fight.
Right?
That's a good
yeah,
fight. That's a really good
yeah.
fight. So we
Two
have a
fights since
question.
he fought Teofimo.
Maiva Amadouche versus Michaela Mayer in November. Who you got, Nike and Christine? Um, I'm just gonna say this real quick. So Ariane, Amadouche also fights amateur. So we fought her many times in the amateurs here at USA Boxing, in Spain, and I forget where else. And then I saw her in the Olympics also. And I definitely have Michaela. Anyone else want to comment on that? Nika, you were asked that as well.
Yeah, I have Michaela for the win. She's been she's been a beast so far. I can't really say that she's looked bad in any of her fights. So um I guess when we get
Yeah,
closer to the fight, we could talk about it more.
yeah.
Because let me tell you, Michaela May has been so spicy talking shit on Twitter. Like she is really taking this her trash talking to like a whole nother level.
Yeah, yeah,
So
we sparred Amadouche many times. The girls up here fought her, and yeah, uh, Mayor definitely has it. What do you think, Lee? What do you think about that matchup?
To be fair to Amadouche, I haven't done the research for that fight yet. I haven't seen her on video yet, but I can tell you that Michaela Mayer is a terrific fighter. She's tall, she's rangy, she knows how to maximize her tools.
Yep.
She has very good work rate. She has a very good jab. She knows how to be the ring general, and it's going to take a very, very good fighter to beat her. I don't know if
She's very
Hamadou
tall for
is
that
that
division.
really, really good fighter, but based on what Christine is saying, probably not. But we'll see. I'll have to see it with my own eyes before I can make
She
a
throws a lot of
judgment.
punches.
I like Michaela Mayer.
But yeah.
She's very tall for that division. Like, so it's gonna be some.
She is.
Yeah.
She really is. Nancy, do you know anything about Amadou?
You know, I do not, but I've gotten to, and it's thanks to you ladies, Christine. You know, I've been really honest with everyone from the get-go. You know that I have not historically followed women's boxing, and it's been thanks to this show that I've gotten, you know, that I've gotten into it, that I've learned so much more, and that is how I know Mayer, and I like Mayer. I'd be rooting for Mayer, and it's for all the reasons that you all outlined. I love her presence. You know what? I'm okay with her trash talking. Like,
I love trash talking.
You know?
I do. So yeah.
I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that and that confidence. And so I'm definitely rooting and following for sure.
That's awesome. So in closing, Lee, do you have any final words for our audience, and where can people find you?
Where people can find me? Well, I joined Twitter on the day of Canelo's fight with Saunders, and you can find me at Lee Groves Boxing. You could also find me on Facebook, and you could also find me on Amazon. I have 2 books, Tales from the Vault and Muhammad Ali by the Numbers, which I co-wrote with Bob Canobio. You could also read me on ringtv.com. I think my latest article was a 35th anniversary retrospective of Donald Curry, Lloyd Hunnigan. And I have, the next issue of Ring Magazine. I think the digital version is already up. They have a division by division all-time greatest. I was part of a panel that listed the 5 greatest fighters from every weight class. And I just submitted an article for the following issue of Ring Magazine on Felix Trinidad. So I'm busy. I stay busy, and thank God for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nika, final words. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at boxing_bird81. On YouTube under Knockouts with Nika, which on Friday I'm gonna do a live for everybody to hop on and talk their trash and pick a fight, pick their winner.
Love it.
For the weekend fights on
I just need the mountain time.
Red Cup Nika, yeah. It's probably gonna be like at 8:30 p.m. and then on Instagram, Knockouts with Nika. So I'm going to do a live with someone else on Saturday night after the fight to get everyone's live reaction on somebody else's page. So I'll get those details out probably on Friday. But yeah, I'm excited about this weekend because it'll be another chapter finally closed about this, in boxing. Hopefully.
I love it.
So y'all gonna be in the chat Friday night?
Yeah.
Yes, I will be in the chat Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my live, and then after I get off my live on Friday, then I'll hop on the chat because I know everybody's
I'm gonna go to your live. But I
excited.
think I missed it last time because I'm mountain right now, so I need to know mountain time.
Mountain time. Okay, yeah, I have to make sure I give you the right mountain time. But
Nika,
is anybody in the chat going to the fight? Only?
At least 4 that I know of. Ernie's gonna go there.
Oh, awesome! I'm in camp. Okay. I can't go. I wish I could. I would love to be there, but we'll be watching it here. Nika, can you put everybody's Twitter in the chat? NJ and
okay, yeah.
You can do that. Nancy, final words.
Nancy.
Where can people find you?
Yes, I'm I'll be on late Friday on the chat to cry some more, Lee and everybody else. I'm so grateful. There's so much love. I mean, I'll start crying all over again. I thank you. It's so nice to be back. And a quick note on the books. Y'all need to get these books.
Yes, I'm reading now.
Yes. So now that I can see again, Lee, I'll be jumping back into my books. And I have a little dream that's called Boxing Republic that I started a couple years ago. I've had some health scares, but not giving up on the dream. To really put a community together of people like all of us, everybody watching, listening, on the show, fans, and for us to do some good in the boxing community. So please follow me. I am pending 501c3, which means nonprofit status. So I am building a nonprofit organization around this. And I think all of us as fans can have a lot of fun doing a lot of good. And also want to put some boxing book club time out in the Twitterverse at some point for book nerds like myself. And like I said, if you haven't read any boxing books, now's the time to start with at least 2 great books. And you definitely want to follow him, and you just learn so much. But definitely get to reading, and then maybe you can join me on this boxing book club when I get that started. So thank you, Christine. Oh my gosh, so grateful for this platform
Nancy,
you give us.
We are all so happy that you're back with us. We've missed you. We've been praying for you. We love you, and we are just so happy that you're here.
I love y'all so much.
Same. And Lee, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Nika, as always, girl, we get it, and we're going to keep getting it every Wednesday night. We're crushing it Wednesday. Different times depending on where I'm at. People that know me know that I'm everywhere. So anyway, but thank you so much. In the Room with Christine, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my amazing guests and hostesses. Love y'all. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.